Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94. You're back with another reaction video. Today, we're finna react to how Jumbo Pictures died. If you don't know what Jumbo Pictures is, this is the cartoon company that made Doug. Yeah, they did the cartoon company that made Doug. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it.
Jumbo Pictures Inc., the staple of the 90s. The first out-of-house studio to rule Nickelodeon, then went straight to Disney and went dormant. Years went by and people wondered whatever happened to Cartoon Pizza, I mean Jumbo Pictures. If the cartoons were grade A quality, why didn't it stand the test of time as a studio? To understand the Jumbo brand, you gotta understand the man who created grade A quality cartoons. Jim Jenkins was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, and would take various inspirations from his hometown to make cartoons. Later on in life, would graduate from Lipscomb University and land a job at Pinwheel, which is later called Nickelodeon. On Pinwheel, Jim was an actor for the series while also being an actor for Hocus Pocus. Later on in his career would work for Children's Television Workshop, now called Sesame Workshop, to work on shorts and cartoons for Square One Television and later on Sesame Street. By then, this would inspire him to make his most famous cartoon. Jim would be inspired by his works in children's television and education to make a children's book. The character Doug first appeared in his book, Doug's Got a Brand New Pair of Shoes. Jim's book, albeit, would not do well in sales with children's books. Doug would then make appearances in 1989 with Florida Grapefruit Juice and USA Network. By the 90s, Jerry Laybourne would be scouting for people to work for Nicktoons. Jim would be the first one to be scouted by the new president. His pilot script, Doug Can't Dance, would make numbers as corporate executives would love it so much it needed to be a show. Jim would be inspired by the character Doug from this excerpt. Doug is not a powerful character. He is more where I feel that kids are today. They are soft-spoken and bewildered, but they often make the right decisions. What we tried to get across was that you should feel good about yourself and not give in to peer pressure. The underlying foundation was that doing the right thing would pay off. This would make it so he would create his studio, Jumbo Pictures Inc. Doug would be released as the first Nicktoon on Nickelodeon on August 11th of 1991, following Rugrats made by Klasky Csupo Incorporated. Doug is a slice of life show that taught lessons with Doug Funny, played by Billy West, and then Tom McHugh. He moves into Bluffington and meets his new friends, as well as bullies, while also dealing with real situations like fitting in, relationships, peer pressure, self-esteem, and figuring out real friends. The show was co-created by in-house studio Games Animation, while the later seasons would be produced by Ellipse Programme. The success of Doug followed Allegra's Window, which was filmed in Nickelodeon Studios at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida in 1994. Allegra's Window, much like Doug, focused on giving confidence to little kids and how they look and feel about themselves, as well as giving moral lessons about making friends, learning new things, and being confident in one's flaws. By 1995,
I ain't gonna lie, that show used to scare me as a kid. Them Muppets looked a little dark. Them puppets looked a little dark. I'm sorry, but that show kind of scared me as a kid. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not gonna lie to you.
My brother in Christ, you are scaring the hoes.
Jim Jenkins would be in production of Hoyt and Andy Sportsbender, Richard Scarry's Best Videos Ever, and The Beginner's Bible. Jim's time with the Hay Pile would be changed in the late 90s to The House of Mouse, but here is how. After the fourth season of Doug in 1994, Doug would be canceled on Nickelodeon. Due to the policy at the time of having 65 episodes per show, if a show had more than 65, the show then belonged to Nick. If it had less, it belonged to the artist. Doug had 52 episodes, so the IP went back to Jumbo Pictures. Nickelodeon, however, still gets royalties from reruns from other channels and streaming platforms that still air the 4 seasons produced by Nick. After a 2-year hiatus, Jerry Laybourne, former president of—
And now they also get royalties for the Disney version of Doug too. So for those of y'all that don't know, even though Jim took his creation to Disney, Nickelodeon had to sign off on that. Jim owned it, but Nickelodeon had to sign off on that. They had the last say so. Even though they really couldn't do nothing, their hands was tied, so they was like, all right, we'll let it go, but you know what I'm saying, we can hit y'all with a lawsuit later on down the line for, you know, copyright infringement, but that's neither here nor there. And Disney was like, look, man, we'll give you 10%. We'll give you 10%. Are you fucking happy with that? 10%. Stop being fucking petty. Nickelodeon was like, I mean, it's 10%. I mean, do we take it? It's fucking Disney. Of course you take it. Deal. That 10%, kept Nickelodeon alive until, well, recent events that I think we already went over this week. But I don't need to say anymore. I think we all know what those events are.
Of Nickelodeon would call Jim again to bring Doug onto Disney's one Saturday morning slot, as she was the head chief for the block. Jim would then take Jumbo Pictures to Disney, then bring Doug into a high school setting after Doug's graduation from middle school. Allegra's window was canceled as Jumbo Pictures was not on Nickelodeon's payroll anymore. While Disney's Doug was taken off on one Saturday morning, 101 Dalmatians the series was aired in 1997. A new preschool show was then made in lieu of Allegra's window. pb&j Otter was released in 1998 on Playhouse Disney with the siblings Peanut, Baby Butter, and Jelly. Now, if you don't remember pb&j Otter, you might remember this.
Yeah.
While the shows were taking off, Jim would be an assistant animator to Sabrina the Animated Series. While this would progress, Jim would make a move that would change the course of his work. Jumbo Pictures would have a problem. Most of the shows would only last 2 to 3 years. Doug was ending its season in the early 2000s, and the contract was still binding with Jumbo Pictures under Disney. Jim would close Jumbo Pictures Inc. in 2001. However, all assets are still under Disney, including the Doug properties. After Jumbo Pictures saw its fate in dormancy, Jim would create Cartoon Pizza with David Campbell, Jake Spilum, Beldine Fortano, and Ellie Copeland. Cartoon Pizza would be in contract with the Sesame Workshop and Cup of Coffee Studios. The first cartoon out of Cartoon Pizza was Stanley. Fun fact, the theme song for the show was from the Baja Men. You know, the same guys who had this song? Can't play any more than that. Stanley was a show that taught kids about change and dealing with social interactions by using animals as references, as well as Stanley's informational computer and the Great Big Book of Everything. Oh boy. It's the Great Big Book of Everything with everything inside. See the world around us is running with the tide. Are you quite finished? The studio would also be in the works with Hit Entertainment and Tiger Aspect Productions to distribute Earth Kid in 2002. Stanley would have 3 seasons on Playhouse Disney, while JoJo's Circus would air in 2003 under Cup of Coffee. JoJo's Circus was the first stop-motion animation from Cartoon Pizza and would last 3 seasons along with shorts called Feeling Good with JoJo from 2004 to 2008. By 2005, the last show out of Cartoon Pizza was Pinky Dinky Doo for Nick Jr. and Noggin. The show was meant to teach kids advanced vocabulary skills and to teach kids to use their minds to make stories and how to tell stories. 5 years after the cancellation of Pinky Dinky Doo, the studio went into dormancy and dissolved in 2015. Jim Jenkins made wholesome cartoons. Despite Nickelodeon being edgy, Jim made sure that the cartoons were teaching valuable lessons in how we see ourselves and dealing with real-life situations. Jumbo Pictures also went with varieties in different styles of animation, from live-action puppets to stop-motion animation. When Jim sold to Disney, it was evident that at some point he wouldn't last. Due to Disney wanting full control in IPs and algorithmic competition, it was only a matter of time till Jim sold Jumbo for Cartoon Pizza. Even with contracts still in Disney, he was running the risk of never breaking free from being under the mouse. Not only this, taste in cartoons was changing. Although the art style was diverse and the characters were memorable, Cartoon Pizza wouldn't be able to stand the test of time. But as of today, these cartoons would still be given to the next generation of kids to help them learn moralistic lessons.
Without a doubt, man. Yo, shout out to Jumbo Pictures, man. Disney, man. Just bad business practice. That's the one thing about Disney. If you don't know what Disney does with their channels, with their IPs or their shows, they only let their shows go up to 65 episodes. Once you reach that 65 episode, you get an hour-long special, and that's it. because nowadays with streaming platforms, you don't have to hit a back in the 90s and the early 2000s. In order for your show to get syndicated, like I'll give you an example if you don't know what syndication means. So basically, like how the Fresh Prince of Bel Air is damn near on every fucking channel nowadays. Like it's on Nick at Night, it's on MTV, it's on BET, it's on VH1, it's on Comedy Central. It's on all these channels because it's over 100 episodes, so it's syndicated. So it can be distributed to any channel that is willing to pay the price for using Fresh Prince reruns, basically. So, but now with streaming, the number has lowered to, I believe, 80 to 75 now. So now, if you can hit that 75, 80 mark, you straight. You hit that 75, 80 mark, you straight. But what Disney does is they only have their shows go up to 65. So that way, if the show hits 65 and they cancel it, the creator and the public and the production company of the show, they'll still get a check from it, but it'll never leave that channel. So the thing with Disney is they'll never let cartoons leave their channel. Like, you don't see Doug outside of Disney and Nickelodeon. You don't see That's So Raven on fucking MTV or BET. You don't see Kim Possible on fucking PBS. You know what I'm saying? Disney keeps their IPs. If any of their IPs go to that syndication route, they can be on any fucking platform. So imagine if fucking, let's just say the Proud Family. Let's say the Proud Family reached 100 episodes. If the Proud Family was to reach 100 episodes, Nickelodeon could be like, hey, we want to buy that. And they could buy that. Like, there's going to be a price because the production company that made the Proud Family is going to be like, oh, Nickelodeon giving us the bag just to show reruns of our show on their network. Bet, take the money. But Disney was like, nope, we never gonna let our IPs go out to our competition. And well, that's why you only watch Doug on Nickelodeon and Disney. So there you have it. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. I will see you all in the next video, man. Till then, peace out.